I'm going to show you how to find your life purpose real fast. And before I say this, I should say that nobody really knows shit, right? And what I mean by that is I have read every single life purpose, ikigai, your life's calling. I've read every life purpose book you can imagine. I've basically been having a quarter life crisis for like 10 years. But that's besides the point because there was a few tidbits that are good in there, but they're basically all just regurgitating the same shit. Like you'll hear do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life from some guy who fucking hates his job, right? Like I was reading up on this Wayne Dyer dude. I was listening to him. He's like a spiritual guru, and he had a lot of like really good insights on finding a life purpose. Then I started reading up on him, and the dude got divorced 3 times. I'm pretty sure he died alone. It's like, bro, for people with all the answers, they really didn't have answers for themselves. But anyway, I digress. I guess I say that to take my opinion with a pinch of salt, but I believe it's good shit. I'm not some self-proclaimed guru. So check this out. I have always disliked Jordan Peterson. And this is, I know, going to probably like make some people butthurt because they love him or whatever. And that's cool, bro. Like, if you like him, that's cool. But my point is just, I've just never liked him. Like, I never liked how intellectualized he tries to make everything. He kind of talks in circles. And a couple years ago, he was like all over the internet. Dude, I was like, maybe I'm missing something. I bought his book. I really tried to read it. And I was like, I just don't really fuck with it. But whatever, dude. If it helps people, cool. And one day, and anyway, I never really put thought into it. But a few months back, I was lifting weights with my buddy, and he said, so we're like talking about something self-improvement, and he's like, yeah, I heard Jordan Peterson say, and I just blurted out, I was like, I hate that guy. And he actually stopped mid-crow, like, whoa, 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 like, what was that? What was that? And I didn't know what it was. It was like a Tourette's outburst. And I was like, I don't know. I don't like him. He's like, yeah, but like, bro, like what is there? We got to dig deep. He was like being my therapist. And when I kind of thought about it, I was like, I don't like that this guy talks in circles and he over intellectualizes everything. He says in a 30-minute speech with giant words that are unnecessary what could be said in 2 seconds, right? Like he's more interested in sounding smart than in actually helping people and like getting the message across, right? That's what I came up with when we were at the gym. And when I really, really, really thought about it, I really dug into that. I was like, okay, so what do I not like about this guy? I was like, well, he uses these huge, long stories with like unnecessary jargon to really sound smart and like an intellectual and whatever. It could be condensed. Like, for example, he gave this like 20-minute speech. I remember I listened to the whole thing, and he's talking about like cleaning your room and it's slaying your dragon. And at the end of it, he just says, yes, so every man should clean his room. It's 20 minutes. But I'm like a psychology nerd, right? So I understand the point he's getting at, and it irks me that he keeps like circling around it. What it actually is that your self-image, who you see yourself as, and your environment are inextricably linked, right? Like in Limitless, when the guy takes the pill and becomes somebody else, the very first thing he does is clean his room because he's no longer fit for that environment. After he bangs his landlady, of course. But anyway, the point is that when you evolve internally, you will naturally evolve your environment. Like you'll naturally start hanging out with different people. You'll clean your room. You'll live in a nicer area, et cetera, et cetera. And it works the other way around too. So obviously leveling yourself up takes a long time. But if you clean your room, if you seek out mentors and people higher level than you, you will naturally increase too. And so I just told you what he said in a 5-minute speech that went in circles and all this shit about slaying a dragon and stuff. That's why it bothered me. So anyway, it dawned on me months later. What you hate is a signpost for what you're supposed to do in life. And I don't just mean what you hate like anything. Like, I hate babies getting murdered, right? Like everybody hates that. But what you hate irrationally. So like, I have no feeling for who's like the underwater basket weaving champion right now. I really don't. I don't care. I'm not interested. Like you probably don't either. But a lot of people have no feeling for Jordan Peterson. I was like, why did I really dislike this guy? And I realized what you irrationally hate is your subconscious saying, I can do that better. He's in my space, like my parking space, if you will. And we don't realize it because you get all these emotions like anger, frustration, and irritation. But if you actually dig in a layer to what you irrationally hate, like you probably know that it shouldn't trigger these feelings. There's something there. And the reason I'm confident in this is that my girlfriend, she designs costumes and clothes. It's like she does a lot of this stuff for her business. But she's in this point right now where she's wanting to pivot and like do something new. And she hasn't figured it out yet, like what it is. And we were talking one day and the brand aloe came up and she's like, oh, I hate aloe. And then, okay, we keep talking. And then for some reason it came up again. And she's like, I hate aloe. And it triggered that I hate Jordan Peterson thing. And I was like, well, why? She's like, I don't know. I just hate them. And I was like, no. I was being, my friend at the gym. Well, why do you hate them? She kind of thought about it. She's like, well, I've never really thought about it, but because she's really into fashion, she like knows all the stuff, the fabrics and all that. She's like, they use extremely, extremely cheap material, but it's branded as this high status thing and it costs a lot of money. And so people are paying a lot of money for this really cheap, shitty material just to pretend like they're high status. And first I was like, well, props to them for figuring out how to monetize that because I see people wearing aloe everywhere. But then I was like, same thing. That's a business opportunity for you. I was like, do you think you could do better? And she's like, well, yeah, for sure. I was like, what if you actually made high status, like good looking, high quality material without the like premium price tag? Don't you think people would pay for that if they're paying for this bullshit just to look rich? And she's like, yeah, for sure. And part of the reason it's so like ingrained in her, she used to live in Miami. And in Miami, everything is like status, like the clothes you wear. And aloe's like huge out there, but it's all fake. You have people driving these like super expensive cars going home to their super shitty apartments that are run down. Everything is just about image. It's all bullshit. Miami's maybe like the worst place in the world for that, but that gave her that unique perspective. So my first question to you is, what do you irrationally hate and why? Because I believe it's a signpost, genuinely, for what you're meant to do with your life. But that's only half of the equation. The other half, I'm not going to bore you with all this stuff like, oh, do what you love, and what do you lose track of time doing, and flow, because you fucking read all those books. They all say the same shit. It is, the story, or the idea stems from this story. I used to sell solar, right? I did sales for like more than 10 years. And I worked with this kid named Jordan. And Jordan was like, all right, pretty good, whatever. But one week he had his like breakout week and he sold 9, or maybe he sold 10. I just remember it was his best week ever. And we did the math. And if those installs went in, he was going to make 80 grand in 1 week, which is like nutty, bro, for anybody. And we really got to talking. And I was like, man, that's so cool. What are you going to do with the money? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you know what I really want to do? I was like, what? He's like, I want to be a high school scout. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I love baseball. I want to be the guy that goes around to different high schools and finds like different budding talents, like for colleges. And he's like, dude, if I could get paid $25,000 a year, I would do that job over however many, whatever this is going to bring me, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I had this realization in my head and I said, I looked him dead in the face and I said, every moment you don't pursue that is a waste of your life. And I know that makes me sound like one of these dudes that's like got it all together. Do what you love and you never work a moment in your life. But it came from like somewhere within me. And my new idea is that what you're supposed to do is somewhere, it's like the through line in between those two things. You've got what you irrationally hate, right? This is the misplaced envy. I think Nietzsche even mentioned some idea of this, like envy is actually like a signpost for you. And then you've got what you would do if you could barely survive doing it, because that takes away all like the ego, the status, the money. But what you irrationally hate, what you would essentially do for free, I believe in between these things, right, is a perfect through line for you. And so to circle back to Jordan Peterson, I just hated how he was like intellectualizing and talking for 30 minutes fucking nonsense because I'm a psychology guy. I know the point he's getting at. And I was like, bro, fucking get to it, buddy. Ain't got all day here. But it's like, oh, I realized I could be that guy. I could explain psychology to people simply. And that's what my YouTube channel is right now. And that was like a huge revelation for me. So I ask you guys, okay? And I really want you to put it in the comments because I genuinely want to know. And you can tell me like, oh, you're full of shit. This is all made up. What do you irrationally hate? What would you do if it paid you crumbs, but you could barely get by? Is there a through line in the middle? Okay? I want to know. Every time I leave after leg day on Saturday, I feel inspired to post a little rant. No old dude pulled up next to me, so it was 100% attention this time. But yeah, man, let me know in the comments down below, and I love you. Bye.